Hey everybody, I'm Dawn, aka Bang Bang Books, aka the Criticizer of Books, and here is my July wrap-up. Alright, before we begin, I must start with a disclaimer, as I will be starting all my videos, that I am on a quest to find a 5-star read. I have not given 5 stars in 2.5 years. The last 5-star book I gave was The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin in 2020. And I am ready for a 5-star. Did I find a 5-star in this video? No, not even close. I did get some pretty good reads, one, but let's go. I read a lot of books. How many did I read? 11. So let's get through them. All right, I have a scale. I have a new scale, a new rating scale. If you did not watch my last video of my June wrap up, it is called the booty scale. And I call it that because that's kind of one of the words that I use to describe when something's bad. I just say it's booty, which in other words means it's shit. And so here's my booty scale. It is kind of confusing. I apologize, but what can you do? All right, if a book has a 4, if I give a book a traditional 4 or 5 star, it gets no booties. It means it was pretty good. If I give a book a 3 star, it has 1 booty, 2 stars, 2 booties, 1 star, 3 booties. So it's the exact opposite of a star. Okay, don't worry about it. It's not that important. Okay, first I'm gonna start with my DNFs. I had 3 DNFs this month. That's a lot for me. That's a record, I think. I used to not DNF because I was like, I invested 30 minutes of my time. I'm gonna finish this book, damn it. And now I'm just like, oh, hell no. I'm not wasting my time on this book. So the first DNF was Our Crooked Hearts by Melissa Albert. This is a, well, I don't know if it was like a huge, like, anticipated book, but I do know that this is a new series from her out of her Alice in Wonderland retelling series. I can't remember the name of that book. You guys know what I'm talking about. So I know a lot of people were like, yay, finally a different world from her. Me, I was one of those people, yay, finally a different world from her, but I DNF'd. I don't even know, at like 70%. Like I didn't enjoy the book. 30-second overview. I have to do overviews of books because yeah. All right, I don't remember anybody's name, by the way, just so you know. Our Crooked Hearts is about our main character. I don't know her name. Let's call her Tammy. Tammy is in a car with her drunk boyfriend, and she's like, you need to stop right now. And I think they hit a tree or something, and they come across this weird woman in the woods who says Tammy's name. And so when Tammy gets home, her parents are like, oh my God, what has happened? She has like bruises. She's like, looks a hot mess. And she tells them what happens. And her mom and dad are like, oh, hell no, you are grounded for the summer. And she's like, darn it, I can't hang out with my friends. But a weird boy, well, he's not weird, but my neighbor, he is over there, and we used to be friends. We're not friends anymore. And he starts coming over, and they start revealing weird things about her mommy. This is a witchy book, and all of everything I said sounds cool. It's a witchy book. Yes, please. However, I don't like Melissa Albert's writing style, and that's a me problem. I like character-driven books. This book is incredibly plot-driven. There's no character development in this book at all, and the plot was just not good. Like, I can get over plot-driven if the plot is good, but the idea of it was good because we were going back and forth between present day and then the past with her mom when her mom was a teenager, and it was just stuff happening, stuff. And I was just like, I don't care about it. And so I DNF'd. But if you like witchy books, if you like the movie The Craft, if you like witchy books, if you like plot-driven books, I would say read it. But if you don't like any of those things, second DNF is The Darkening by Sunya Mara. Beautiful cover, which is why I read the book. And I'm not the typical read book by the cover person, but I mean this cover. Okay, The Darkening, I DNF'd like 30%, so let me see if I can blurt out what this book is about. The Darkening is about, I don't know her name, let's call her Shamar. Shamar kind of lives in a world where Dude, I just read this book like last week. I'm not even kidding. Okay, so her world is walled in because the other side of the wall has like bad things happening that could kill you. And if you touch the wall, you die. And sometimes kids will be like, "Ew, let me see if I can touch the wall," and then they die. And then so people are like starving and they have diseases and everything, and Shamar and her grandma and her dad kind of take care of, you know, these people. But then the king and the king's kids are kind of like in the army, or they have some kind of a big deal. I'm doing a really bad job of this book. I'm so sorry. But his kids kind of come around and they're like, we are looking for this person. Where is this person? And Shamar is like, I do not know. And so then this person, Shamar kind of knows who this person is, and he gets captured because they find him, and she's like, oh my god, no. I'm over 30 seconds. And this is not an overview. This is what I have read. She's like, oh my god, no. And so then she gets into the castle to find said person to rescue them. Okay. I cannot say that sounded amazing because it didn't, but if you read the back of the book, which you probably should, it probably does sound amazing. My description was bad. On the surface, the book sounded good. The book was actually fine. There was nothing hugely bad with it. Not like Our Crooked Hearts that had no character development. Like this book did. It was interesting. It started off really like, oh my god, like what's happening? Like the intro was intriguing. It gripped you. There was a bit of a cliffhanger at the end of the first chapter. Then we have these bad guys are just like trampling on the food that they barely have, and we're like, oh my god, you're an ass. And then someone gets taken and she has to go to the castle. Like it's all of this, and it's fast paced. Like I stopped at 33%, and everything that I just described all happened within 33%, which means it's moving. It's not slow. That's great. My problem with this book is that I've heard the story many times, and I'm over reading regurgitated plots. I'm over it. I've read this girl before. How many girls have we read where her mom was taken or her mom is dead, and you know her mama ain't dead? That's not a spoiler because I'm guessing, but there was no body, no daddy. Come on. And then you know she's probably the chosen one, or she gonna fall in love with one of the princes or something. I mean, come on. How many times have we read this story? I don't want to read it again. Beautiful cover, but I don't want to read that story again, so I DNF'd. Sorry. Next was The Wolf and the Woodsman by Ava Reed. I chose this book because I thought it was going to be a potential 5-star, and my dumbass did not look on Goodreads and saw that it only had like a 3.5-star rating. No, that's not potential 5-star book. And they were right. So I DNF'd at like 20% maybe. Okay, once again, I'm gonna try and do an overview. In this world, the king, instead of collecting tax money, he collects sacrifices. So he goes to towns and was like, you need to give up a woman so we can kill her and sacrifice her to the gods, and so that we may live. And our main character, Chi-Chi, let's call her Chi-Chi, she has been deemed one of those girls. And woodsmen come, and the woodsmen are feared, and woodsmen come and take her. And that's all I'm gonna say is I think there's spoilers in there. But it has a lot of Hungarian folklore, and I want to say Jewish folklore as well, which always is interesting when I read about a different culture's folklore, because I don't know it. I was not a history major. I was not a folklore major. I don't know. So that always makes a book stand out and different because it's coming from a different culture, and it's usually pretty interesting. So it had it going for it. It was atmospheric. Chi-Chi was okay as a character. it did a really good, like, there was some tension between the women in this village, and it had some gods, religion, highly religious people, fanatics, you know, and all that stuff. All that was good. My problem with the book was that it was suffering from what I like to call, girl, you doing too much. It's too much. Too much folklore. It's like the first 3 pages, she is dropping huge proper names on your ass. Half the time, half of them you can't pronounce, which is fine. She does have an index. You can go back to the index and see how it's pronounced, and you can see the definition. I don't always like to do that because sometimes there are spoilers. Just the first chapter, it was just like, this is the name of the forest. This is the name of their god. This is the name of their other god. This is the name of the woman who takes care of them. This is the name of that forest. This is what the Woodsmans are called. Like, and you're just like, whoa, 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 whoa. All the names are just punching you all in the face. And then every god has their own story. You know what I mean? Like, every god has their own little love story or demise story or something. And then there's all of that. And then, and there are multiple gods. So her people believe in these gods, and the king believes in these gods. So her gods have stories, and then their gods have stories. And then it's just like, oh my God, pick a couple things and roll with it. Stop trying to cram everything into one book. It was too convoluted. I gave up. Next. And now we're getting into the booties. This first book, I gave 2 booties, or for all you other people who need a star rating, 2 stars. And it goes to The It Girl by Ruth Ware. This was a highly anticipated thriller mystery, and I hated every second of it. It is about Hannah. I remembered her name. Hannah is, you know, she's a provincial girl. She is going to an Oxford school. I don't understand how Oxford works. I thought Oxford was one university. I thought it was like Harvard. But apparently there are other schools in the Oxford, I don't know. Anyway, she's in Oxford. She's excited because this is a big deal for her. And her roommate is April. And this takes place in like 2012 or something like that. 2010. Her roommate is April. April is the it girl. April is very wealthy. April's rumored to have gotten there by her father donating money or something. Like, she didn't really earn her spot. And April is a prankster. And one day they come home and April is lying dead on the floor. Hannah has fingered a guy to do it, and he goes to prison. But then 10 years later, he dies in prison, and people have kind of figured that he was not the real murderer. So now Hannah is like worried that she put the wrong person in jail. She wants to know what really happened to her friend. All sounds great, right? It's not. First of all, this book is 430 pages long. No mystery thriller book should be that long. And I felt every page of that book. Secondly, our main character was awful. The author does one of those things where she makes the main character pregnant. A pregnant woman means something in books. You just don't put a pregnant woman in a book just because it's fun. Pregnancy is usually a part of the person's development or growth in the story. But in this case, it didn't do anything to the story. It didn't do anything to Hannah. Hannah also works in a big store. I don't know what that is. She works in a bookstore. And once again, there was no reason for her to work in a bookstore. I don't know why that was important to the plot. It wasn't. But it's stuff like that. That's why the book is so long. She has stuff in the book that is irrelevant to the plot. Our it girl, April, is a prankster, which I feel like she would have shopping to do instead of pranking people. But I hate the fact that she was a prankster. I wish she could have been anything else. This is one of those books where the author really doesn't intend on you solving the murder. I think she does, but she doesn't do a good job of it. You know what I mean? Like, there are some books that drop clues, like The Night Shift by that one guy. I don't know his name. But books like that, they drop clues because they want the reader to try and figure out the mystery along with the book. You know what I'm trying to say? Then there are some books where you're just along for the ride. You're not supposed to try and pick up on any clues. You're just supposed to read it and enjoy it, and that's fine too. This book tries to be the former, where it's like trying to drop some clues for you, because it's like letting you know who has motive, and then it's letting you know who was where during the time of the murder, and it's putting out red herrings, and it's doing all those things. And it's one of those books where it's like one itty bitty detail that if you were not paying attention, whoopsies for you. That's the major. I don't like that. I don't like it when it's one itty bitty clue buried in some bullshit. Like, I hate that. And this book did that. That was not the reason why it was bad. I'm kind of all over the place here. It was bad. It was bad because it was too slow. The characters were not good characters. The character development was awful. The mystery itself was done a million times. There was nothing cool. Not cool. The mystery was just not interesting enough. It was not an interesting book. I don't even read that many mystery books, but I watch a lot of mystery. And so it was just not, it did not keep my interest. I was bored. I was bored. So, 2 booties for you. The next book is Fevered Star by Rebecca Roanhorse. I gave this 3 stars. Yeah, 3 stars or 2 booties. Nope, 1 booty. It's 1 booty. I don't even know my own scale. And I'm hot. Okay, Fevered Star is book 2. Book 1 is Black Sun, which I will get to a little bit later in this review. But it is the continuing story of Narampo and I forgot everybody else's name. Serapio and Shala. So it is the continued story of Narampo, Serapio, and Shala. And I gave this book a 3-star because I was so excited about this series. I heard nothing but great things about it, and I was just like, yes, this is gonna be my first 5-star in 2.5 years. No. This book was bizarre. This is an exact interpretation of what happened. The Sky Clan sabotaged the Sun Clan because they hated old homegirl, and so then their infiltrator was killed, and then they're mad because the infiltrator was killed, and so then they are gonna go to the other clan, to the Eagle Clan, and be like, how dare you? And then the Eagle Clan is like, fuck you, man. And then the Eagle Clan is like, okay, I'm gonna get back at you, and then I'm going to plot and plan with the Taco Clan. So the Taco Clan is like, I'm sorry, Eagle Clan, I have pledged my allegiance to the Snoopy Clan. And then the Snoopy Clan is like, thank you, and I'm gonna get some other clans, and we're gonna take down the Sun Queen. And then the Heart Clan is like, you're not gonna take down the Sun Queen, because we're gonna take down the Sun Queen, and we're gonna have our own infiltrator, and then we're gonna infiltrate the Taco Clan. And the Taco Clan is like, oh my god, I found your infiltrator, I'm gonna kill them. And like, was this your person, the Heart Clan? It was like, nope, it wasn't my person, Heart Clan or Taco Clan. And that's how I felt reading that book. It was ridiculous. It was all politicking. It was a bunch of new clans that were introduced to this book. They may have been mentioned in book 1, but we really didn't know anybody from them. We didn't know any of the characters. In this book, they just dropped all of them in this one. And it was all of them trying to gain power by sabotage, infiltration, murder, lies, deception, deceit. And it was just not, I couldn't keep track of who was who. I could not keep track of their motive, and I just stopped trying. And I shouldn't. I should be invested. I should care about why each clan hates this clan, but I wasn't. And I feel like that is the fault of the author for not keeping me interested, and therefore I had to give it a lower rating. That's all I got to say about that. Next is the Jasmine Throne by Tasha Suri. This one gets 1 booty or 3 stars. Once again, thought this was gonna be my 5-star. Oh my god, I don't even know if I could tell you what this book was about. I don't even know. Okay, I'm gonna try my best. Okay. I don't know anybody's name. All right. In this world, what's her name? Queenie. Let's call her Queenie. She was a child that had magic. And 10 years or so prior, some very important people tried to kill these children, these magical children, because of course we don't like it when the powers that be don't like it when other people have power, because then they could take them down. So they killed these powerful children, but Queenie survived, and she is just trying to live her life when the leader, the emperor, has decided that his sister needs to be sacrificed because it's tradition and women need to be sacrificed to appease the gods. And her sister was like, nope. And he was like, I'm banishing you. And she ends up in Queenie's town. Queenie has to take care of her, and she falls in love with her. And then she is like, okay, I'm gonna help you take down the emperor. There you go. I did it. Yay. Yay. Okay. Here's what's up. Unless I missed it, this world, the magic system was not explained. It never explained how these kids got the magic, where the magic came from, why it was only these kids who got the magic. And I didn't like that because it didn't make any sense. Queenie she started off pretty good, but so here's what I hate. This is what I hate. So the emperor's sister, she's a princess. Let's call her Princess Peach. Princess Peach is, she is being slowly poisoned, but she's too dumb to realize that. However, she's trying to get the hell out of there. She's like, I got to go. I got people waiting for me, and we need to take down my brother, the emperor. And she enlists Queenie to help her, but of course she don't know Queenie. So she's like, okay, I'm going to try and manipulate her a little bit to get me the hell out of here. And of course they kind of start making goo-goo eyes at each other. And Queenie at some point figures out that she was being used. And Princess Peach was like, you got me. I was using you. However, I was not lying about my feelings for you. I really do love you. And Queenie was like, no, you lied to me. Even though our world is on fire, like right outside, I can see it. I hate you. And Princess Peach is like, there's fire outside. I can see it. Can we go? Can we like shove this away for a little bit and let's just go. Now, you lied to me. And then she would help her, and then they would escape down the hill. And then, a couple days later, Princess Peach would be like, okay, I got somebody waiting for me. They're gonna help. Can you help get me there? No, you lied to me. It's like, girl, your people are being murdered in front of you. You need to get the fuck over it, okay? I hated all of that. Then there was a character where he was a major character too. And he was also trying to kill the emperor, but he was trying to like do it a certain way. And Queenie was not about that life. And he's also trying to manipulate her to get her to do his bidding. Great. However, the author doesn't do a good job of making him a sympathetic character, because he was supposed to be sympathetic at some point. He was supposed to be like conniving and like gaslighting her, but it was so obvious the way he did it. Like it wasn't like unique gaslighting, or it was just like the old, it's your fault. It's your fault I'm this way. How dare you? You can fix it though. You can fix it by telling me where the cuckoo clock is. She'd be like, no. He'd be like, I thought you loved me. I treated you like a sister. I saved you. I gave you my food. Please help me find the cuckoo clock. Okay. It was that. It was like, come on. What kind of gaslighting is that? Like, oh, yeah. It was just not good writing at all. Like, I just, no. I did not. I was not enjoying myself reading that book. So, okay. Next. You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty by Emezi. Dang it. I had the title right for the first time in one take, and then I got her damn name wrong. Sorry, I got their name wrong. Okay. You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty by Kweke Emezi. I gave this 3.5 stars, or 1 booty. And I did a whole blog. Nope. I did a whole vlog about this, and a lot of these books I've vlogged. So I vlogged Jasmine Throne, I vlogged Fever Star, and The Black Sun. So if you want to see my more in-depth thoughts, you can click the links below and everything. You can see the whole vlog. But You Made a Death with Beauty with Your Beauty, whatever. Okay. So this book, I just read this book, so I better remember this girl's name. Faye. Faye is suffering from the loss of her husband, who died in a tragic car accident, and she is really not looking for a relationship. She's just having her whole summer. I can't remember what Issa Rae called it, an insecure, but there's a term for it. But she's just having she's being a whole self at this time. She's just looking for hookups. She's not looking for a relationship. And she meets a guy who's like, hey, I really like you. But she's like, I'm not ready for all of that. And he's like, cool, cool, cool. Let's be friends. And so he's like, hey, my father has a nice house on our island, our home island. Why don't you go with me? Do your art stuff. I know some people who I can hook you up with your art and all this stuff. Just come and hang. It's totally platonic. Let's go. She's like, bet. I said bet because that's one of the slangs that they use in this book. And she goes, and then she meets his dad, and she's just like, okay. So she kind of falls for the dad, and the son is not happy about it, because even though they're just friends, you know, A, that's his dad, and B, he wants to be more than friends. Not the point. The point is that's his dad. The entire time, the book is trying to convince me that it is okay that Faye is dating the father. Meanwhile, I'm like, nope, 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 nope. There's nothing you can say that's going to convince me that this is okay. And this book tried so hard. I mean, it tried hard. It gave every reason it could think of. And I was like, sorry, no. And that is ultimately why I gave it 3.5. The characters were great. The story was good, as far as, you know, about this woman who found someone who shared the same trauma she did, and they were able to talk about it. She was able to find love and still love her dead husband. Like, all that was fine. The writing style, Emezi is a beautiful writer. All that was great. It was the fact that this book tried to convince me that it was okay that she was dating the father. No. And my reason is because it's selfish. I don't care if he's just your friend. I don't care. Also, it was insta love. She had one conversation with this guy, and all of a sudden we're kindred spirits. I don't think so. That's stupid. So She like literally had one, and I'm not exaggerating, she had one conversation with this guy and she's in love. She's licking fingers and stuff. No. This is also a spicy book. I forgot to say, this is spicy. I don't know how many peppers, because I don't know the pepper scale, but I say it's selfish because she's not taking other people's feelings into consideration. She has decided that this man made her feel good about herself. Fuck you. That is your father. I don't care. I don't care if it's going to break up your family. I don't care. He made me feel good. Therefore, I don't care. I call bullshit on that. I did not like it, and I gave it 3.5. Next! Love Radio by Ebony Liddell. I gave this 4 stars. I don't know the main character's name, so let's call her Gina. Gina has okay. Gina has a secret. She's not a secret. It's like something happened to her about a couple months ago, and she's keeping it quiet, but it is affecting her mental health. It is also making her keep boys at arm's length. She's like, and she meets a guy and he's just like, hey girl, what's up? You like to read? Me too. And she's like, get the fuck away from me. And he was like, whoa. I just said hi. You didn't have to come at me like that. And she's like, whatever, dude, get the fuck out of my face. And he does. I remember his name. His name is Prince because, you know, Prince. I love Prince. He's a good singer. Was a good singer. Prince is a radio DJ and he gives love advice. And he's like, okay, that was rude. And then Gina goes and like basically surveys people and was like, I met this guy, but I said this to him. Was I the asshole? And they're like, yes. So she goes to apologize, and then they become friends, and then they become more than friends. It is a cute love story. One thing that I did not like about this book, well, the major thing I didn't like about this book, it was not a dislike, it was a nitpick really, is that Prince is 17 and he is giving advice about love. No, I am not taking love advice from a child. I don't care how many books you've read. I don't care how many relationships you've been in. Just no. But that's a nitpick. The reason why I rated it lower than like a 5 or 4.5 is because it's just a cute story. There's no critical writing here. There's no magnificent character development. There's nothing new being said about love or relationships or family or friendship or anything. It's just a cute story. So for me to give a 5, it has to be a critical book. This was just a really cute story. One thing that I really did like about it is that it was realistic. And I think teens who are reading this book will find some useful information about social interactions and what to do in certain situations. So for example, our main character, Gina, she's befriended a new girl. And the new girl is she's kind of bad news bears. And she gets caught up into that. And her other friends, Gina's other friends are like, we don't like old home girl. We don't want to hang out with her. But Gina's like, you know, I can't just ghost her. You know, I gotta be nice to her. I think she's funny. I think she's a nice girl. Until something bad happens with said girl. And meanwhile, Gina and her friends have kind of fallen out a little bit. They didn't have like a big argument or anything. They just kind of stopped hanging out. You know how that goes when you stop calling each other and then a month goes by and you don't want to just call them out of the blue because it's weird. So you just don't. And then 2 months go by and 3 months. It's that type of thing. And then one day Gina is just like not doing well. Like you can just see her like sad and just like kind of like hunched. She's just not herself. And her friends are like, what's wrong with you? And she's like, nothing, of course, because that's what people do. And they're like, no, we've known you forever. We know something is wrong and we are your friends. We are here for you. So I thought that was great that Gina had someone to rely on that she could talk to. And I think sometimes teens look for advice in books, especially when teens specifically look for books about physical abuse or sexual abuse or drugs or, you know, suicide or something like that. They specifically look for those books because they're not comfortable asking an adult. So they will look for advice in a book. So I think this is a really good book on how to react in social situations. It's very cute, very sweet. There were a couple of really cute moments. One of them was, well, okay. So if you are not Black, like me, you do not know anything about Black hair culture and braiding and all that stuff. Braiding, like braids, they take a long time to put up. And usually a professional puts your braids in. But you as the person are responsible for taking them down. And it could take hours. It could take just as long to take them down as to put up. And sometimes you get your family to help you. Because I have had to take down many a braids with my cousin. And so her prince has decided to help her take her hair down. And I was like, okay. And it's oddly intimate because when someone is helping you take their hair down, you usually are sitting between their legs. You're on the floor, they're on the couch, you're watching TV, they're taking the top of your head down, you're taking them down here, you're sitting down, but you're sitting in between their legs. And for two women or family members to do that, it's fine. But for a woman to sit in between a man's legs and vice versa while he's taking her hair down, it's oddly intimate because I've had that happen. I have braided a man's hair, he's sitting between my legs, and it's oddly intimate. And I was just like, this is their first date. They're not really, it's not a date. He just offered to come over to her house and help her take her hair down because he's like, hey, you want to go to the movies? And she's like, I can't, I got to take my braids out. And he was like, hey, I'll come over and I'll help you. So they're just friends at this moment. And I'm just like, is it me or is that intimate? I don't know. I think it is. That was a very long story. Anyway, I liked it. It was cute. I recommend it. Read it. Next. Babel by R.F. Kuang. I gave this 4 stars. Okay, overview. Babel is set in the 1830s in England, and it is about Robin. That's his real name. Robin was taken from his homeland in China when he was about 10 years old. He was taken to England. He was raised by an Englishman to be a proper Englishman himself, to go to Oxford and to study languages. So that England, who has a monopoly on silver, and this is where the speculative fiction comes in, he can help them maintain the monopoly on silver. So what the English do is that they write words on silver, and then so let's say that a factory owner wants to make his bread machines work faster than humans. So he goes to the school and was like, hey, I need some silver to do that. So they write characters on the bar and he give them to the manufacturer, and he puts it in his business, and now he doesn't need workers anymore because he has fast machines. So that's kind of what the silver is doing. However, it is also starting the Opium War in China. The reason why I gave this book a 4, it probably deserves a 5, but I gave it a 4 because I do not like historical fiction. I thought this book was mostly fantasy with a sprinkle of historical fiction. No, it is mostly historical fiction with a sprinkle of fantasy. And when I say sprinkle, I mean a sprinkle. So yeah, I don't like historical fiction. And this book is very long. It's 560 pages. It is a standalone. If you like historical fiction, then you're going to love this book. If you like nonfiction, you're going to love this book. If you don't, you're not, because it's just really, really long. And it was a lot of our main characters like thinking about what their next plan is. Not so much of the silver usage. So once again, if you like historical fiction or nonfiction, then you're probably going to really like this book. If I love that stuff, I probably would have given it a 5. But it's just not my jam, but everything else was good. Like the writing style, I really enjoyed it. I have not read The Poppy War, but I really did like Kwang's writing style. Characters were great, themes, it was all good. It was just too heavy on the history. Next, The Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse. I gave this a 4, and I enjoyed it more than Fever Star. The Black Sun has 3 main characters: Narampo, Serapio, and Shala. Narampo is the sun priest, and she is the holiest of the holy. Like, you can't get any better than her. But someone's trying to kill her. Serapio has been tasked to kill her. And Shala has been tasked to bring Serapio to kill the sun priest. So that's how they're all connected. So the beginning of this book was fabulous. I was like, oh my God, this is gonna be my first 5-star in 2.5 years. Yay! And then it wasn't. And here's why. It was good, but it just was not quite good enough to be a 5-star. It takes a lot for me to give 5-star. Obviously, I haven't given one in a really long time. But I need character development to be perfection. And it wasn't in this book. It was close, but it wasn't quite there. Roanhorse failed to make the reader understand that Narampo was not accepted. There was some discrimination because Narampo was not part of a clan, and clan people get high priority. But she's the sun priest, and she's not a part of a clan. And, you know, people are like, oh, hell no. But the author never really made the reader feel like people hate her, that they despise her because she's not in a clan. Like, that wasn't developed well enough. Also, as a reader, it's the author's job to make the reader root for a character and or hate another character. Serapio, she should have either made us love him and not want him to kill the sun priest, or we should have wanted him to kill the sun priest. Like, we should have not wanted the sun priest to die because we love Narampo, or we should have been like, she sucks ass, she needs to go. But the author never really develops the characters enough for me anyway as the reader to care either way. I wasn't like, oh my God, no, Serapio, please don't kill her. I was just like, oh, well, he's got a job to do. I don't care. Like, I wasn't invested in anyone's life. And so that was ultimately the reason why I gave it less than a 4.5. Still a good book. I still recommend it. I will not be reading the 3rd book. I know that. Last, this has been a long damn video, is The Sea of Tranquility by Emily St. John Mandel. Is that her name? Yes. 425. Once again, I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be a 5-star for me. Nope, it wasn't. 425. This is gonna be hard to explain. Okay. This is speculative fiction, science fiction, and it follows 3 different characters in 3 different centuries. Right? I don't know. Every 100 years. But every 100 years it is. I never get it right. Yeah, century. So our first character is in 1918, and then the next character is in 2020, and then the last character is in 22 something. So it spans 600 years, so we are in the future where people are living on the moon. And all 3 of these people are connected because they all experienced an anomaly, or someone they knew experienced an anomaly. And there is a guy Gaspari, who has been tasked to try and figure out what the anomaly is and make sense of it. You can't really say too much without spoilers. Okay. So this book, and I did a whole video that no one's watched, about how to pick a good book when you go to the bookstore. And one of the things I talked about is the difference between a popular book and a critical book. And why that's important is because people who select best books of the years, and I'm not talking about Goodreads best book of the year award, I'm talking about legitimate awards like the National Book Award and the Hugo Award, like all these big awards. What these selectors are looking for and what is considered a critical book. The Sea of Tranquility is a critical book. This is the type of book that will win awards. It will. Or it will be on a bunch of lists, a bunch of runner-up lists. Because, first of all, it is told out of order. Anytime you find a book that it is like goes back and forth in timeline, it is automatically critical status because that's what selectors look for, a book that is told out of order. This book goes back and forth. It's all over the place. Awesome. I actually love that about this book. Another thing that made this book great is that it has so many themes. Like, this is a book club book. You would be talking for hours about this book and everybody is going to get something different out of it, which is how it should be. I loved all the themes in the book. It was hard to kind of pinpoint what the author was trying to say, and I really did have to think about it. And I really did have to listen to the author talk about her book and other people talk about the book. And this book came out in April or something, and not a lot of people are talking about it. So it wasn't very many videos talking about it, but I found enough. Oddly enough, it was men. It's not odd. Men tend to read a lot of science fiction. Men and women read fantasy, but I don't know. Men like science fiction, and so I found a lot of videos with men talking about the book, not a lot of women. Not the point. Anyway, I liked Emily's writing style. Very poetic, very beautiful writing style. I enjoyed all of that. My problem with the book was that, and I kept waiting for it, was that there was no story. There was no main story. So as the book is going back and forth, you as the reader are looking for clues and you're trying to figure out why all of them have experienced the anomaly. And every once in a while, a chapter will drop in information and you as the reader will be like, oh, that's why that character said that in that chapter, or that's why that character did that, or that's why that happened 3 chapters ago. And that's what I love. I love that. And so I kept waiting for the story to have one central thing happen. You know what I mean? So how can I give an example? Okay. Let's say you have a book where you have one character in 1910, one character in 2020, and one character in 2260. This is not a spoiler. But they're all like going about their business, and then something happens where they all experience the same thing. Come to find out, it's the Truman Show. It's a TV show. They're all living in a TV show. You know what I mean? Like I kept waiting for one big revelation to happen, and it didn't happen. And I was like, what was this book about? Like, it took me a while to try and figure out what I was supposed to get from this book. That's not a bad thing, because books are supposed to make you think, and it took me several hours to come up with what I thought the book was about. And ultimately, it is about how, even though time moves on, we kind of don't change. So one thing that this book had in common is that each character was experiencing a pandemic. So it was the 1918 pandemic, our pandemic in 2020, and then there's another pandemic in the future. And we're all experiencing they're all experiencing a pandemic. They're all dealing with it in their own way, but at the same time, we're all kind of dealing with it the same. So it's just about time doesn't change, and it does change, and how we live our life and what we do with our time on Earth or the moon. The people in the future live in the moon. So that's really kind of condensing it as much as I possibly can without spoiling it. If you like thinking in your science fiction, like really, really thinking, then I say read it. If you are looking for a nice, fun, fluffy read, no, this ain't for you. But if you are looking to be challenged, if you're looking for a really good book club book where you guys can just sit and talk about this for a long time, and it's a short book, it's like short in like stature and short in pages, then highly recommend. I have not read any of her other stuff. I'm kind of intrigued because from what I understand, the characters overlap. Like the characters in this book were in a couple of her other books. So that's kind of cool. So yeah, I recommend it. All right, that was my July wrap up. I've lost my voice. Per usual, I always lose my voice at the end of these videos. Hopefully I could edit it all down. Okay. What I did not mention at the beginning of this video is that I am a teen librarian. I vlog at work, which I am at work now, on my break. I vlog at work, so if you would like to see what it is like to be a librarian, you can follow my weekly vlogs, or you can just watch my 60-second book reviews, or you can listen to my podcast with my friend Ashley. All right, until the next wrap up, bye-bye.